Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, LoneStarMopars.com. If I'm not mistaken, this is KC Tool Haul number 14, and this is definitely going to be a good one. You're going to want to stick around through the end because we've got some pretty cool stuff. My apologies if you hear a drone in the background. That's a fan. It is freaking hot. It's Independence Day weekend here. I've actually had this stuff since back into June. We're just now getting around to actually open it up and take a look at it. So, first thing first, has anything changed? Still got the Wera flyer. Still want to try out the Jokers. KC Tool, anytime you place an order, you get a bit of thanks. This time around, we've acquired bit number 23 of 24, and yes, your eyes don't deceive you. That is a number 2 by 50 millimeter Phillips Dura power bit. So, pretty cool deal. Wiha part number 74142. And again, we'll get to use the snot out of that one because, again, it is a number 2 Phillips that I frequently use. Spoiler alert, we have exceeded the $200 threshold in this order. That's why there's going to be so many different products for you to check out. But if you're unaware, $50 on KC Tool gets you free shipping. $100 gets you the free sticker pack. $200 gets you the free t-shirt. Now, these are available. I think they run like $17-20, somewhere in that range. But if you kind of hold up your order, if there's not like a tool of the day that presses you into ordering, accrue a couple of items, hit that threshold, free t-shirt. Comes with a sticker pack, just the KC Tool stickers, not like the fancy new one. So that is a nice touch, and again, totally free when you spend $200, which is not hard to do. But a big ticket item right here that set us back all of nothing. That's right, the catalogs are free if you can catch them in stock. Some people like digital. I'm kind of old school, prefer in hand. We're kind of building up the battleground here. This is a Stahlwille Catalog. I don't think they had a 2019 available just yet, but short of new products, this should get me by. We're particularly interested in checking out their sockets, ratchets, and then I will use this when we compile screwdriver information. But you get a feel for it. It's pretty much to the point, nothing too crazy. They've got a lot of kind of fancy, like, trade show inserts that I kind of think are neat, but very basic and to the point. Now, sticking with that, we've got kind of a surprise that was thrown in, so shout out to Colin here from KC Tool. But these are currently on sale. If you're getting their emails, you know that. If you don't, and you frequent the site, you should have been able to track it down. But Gedore Pliers are kind of having like a pretty big blowout sale right now. This is kind of what you could equate to what their version of the Cobra would be. And this particular model is going to be the 142-10. These things typically retail for around 50 to 60 bucks, depending on how you option them out. 42% off, and they are $30.42 right now. Now, there's a couple of different versions of this. You can get the let's see, 10-inch, which is what we have. It's got 15 settings. If you want something a little bit more compact, there's a 7-inch version. There's also a 12-inch version that would only add 2 settings, upping it from 15 to 17 on our model. Catch is, it gets even crazier because you can come in and do this a couple of different ways. You can kind of go the base route. You can upgrade it just a little bit with the grips, or you can come in and you can kind of get their chrome-plated one. I think that would be the JC, the way to do it. It's got like the blue and black, kind of their comfort grip handles. It's a pretty cool deal. But again, this was sent out, so thank you to Colin and folks at KC Tool. Definitely put these things to good use. What I like about them initially, aside from the color, which I do like, is the fact it's a slim profile. You can kind of see the box joint there. It is push button. That's what's important to understand about these. So this, the 10-inch model, has a 15-inch, or I shouldn't say 15-inch, but 15 different positions that you can select. Again, if you up it to the 12, you're only gaining another 2. These are not the plastic dipped handles like you would be accustomed to on channel lock. This is sort of that textured grip, like I see on some of the Knipex and Wiha stuff. I've actually grown to really like this. Some cases better than the comfort grip just because it maintains a slim profile. But once again, these are on sale. There's a myriad of options. There's also a lot of other Gedore pliers on. So if you've ever been on the fence about bringing them in, now is a great time to do so. And with that sat down, we can attempt to figure out how to get started with everything that I've done. And we've got pretty much something for everyone in this one. It's going to be pretty interesting. This is one of those things. Long ago, my first foray with Wiha soft finish wasn't a screwdriver. It was actually their little scraper blade, which it's something I've showcased before. We'll probably make a standalone video. I'm not going to go into great detail on these for the simple fact we will do that, and this will be a long video. And that's not due to me rambling, that's honest to gosh due to the sheer number of products we have to cover in this one. But I was unaware until I was just perusing the site looking for things and saw these, and I was like, wait, that's not the scraper blade. And that same little handle, which you can pick up for around 10 to 15 bucks, sometimes with the pack of 10 scraper blades, has different replacement blades you can put in it. So what we have here is part number 43095 and 43096. These I think were on sale. Looks like we paid $680 for the 95s and $456 for the 96s. But this one is sort of like a angled blade. I think you can kind of see it in there. And then this one is going to be curved. And what my logic was, I've had an X-Acto knife I've used for cutting gasket material, you know, for example, on the cooling system. If you pull the thermostat, you kind of need it to seal because the thermostat was doing that. So I'll just buy that like cheap little square sheet of gasket material. Sometimes it lasts, sometimes it doesn't, but I've been using an X-Acto knife. I can't remember when I broke the tip, but I didn't have any spare tips, and instead of me trying to go to a craft store, which is a pretty good drive, and then dealing with trying to find it and checking out and all that hassle, I decided I'd bring those in. So we will spend a little bit more time on those coming up. And what I want to do right now is throw this guy down in front of you. Many of you are probably like, oh, that's Wera. That's one of their chisel drivers. Cool, you've already got one, right? What's the point? Well, we do. And let me try to grab it for you. Let's see here. Again, don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but this is basically what we already brought in the 5-piece set, 917 SPH. This is their number 2, 100 millimeter, and again, it's a chisel driver. You can actually, they're fine with you using this as a chisel. Not as just a striking cap, but as a chisel. Now granted, would a number 2 be used as a chisel? Not necessarily, but we've got the ability to possibly free seized, corroded bolts, maybe if they're caked on paint, if you're at your grandparents' cabin or something. You got a hex bolster here, which you can use a wrench to apply leverage. This is sort of a step up. Now, I wouldn't want to invest in a complete set of these, which they do sell. If I was using a Phillips screwdriver, for example, I would not go with this one. I would go with this one. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, idiot, that's the exact same thing. And to the greater extent of things, it is. But this is 917 SPHS. So this one's SPH, this is SPHS. And you're like, okay, hey, what's the deal? It's just a little bit longer. You're a moron. Why bring that in? Well, here's why. And again, if I had something I was going to chisel, or I was using the screwdriver as a chisel, which many of us do, I'd be content with the 5-piece set we've brought in. This one's different, and it's not just the length. Check that out. If you're looking at it and you're like, okay, there's a hole in this one. I don't, what are you raving about here, lunatic? I'll tell you right now, this I think is probably, if it works, which I think it will, going to be the best option for truly seized Phillips fasteners. What this is a square, and it's for quarter drive ratchets. T-handle, spinner, whatever you want to throw on the end of this thing. In my opinion, while the hex bolster is great, and it's kind of, a low-key solution, the striking cap is a step up from that. This has the striking cap in effect, but it also provides you with the ability to use a ratchet. The leverage you can get, the way you could push down and turn, I think this might be the best solution to genuinely seized up, intact Phillips head screws. Now that would be the same for posi if you go that route. Obviously these are available in number 1, number 3, probably a couple other sizes, but wanted to have it for comparison purposes, and I think it's honestly going to be my go-to in terms of stuck number 2 Phillips screws. Again, that is from Wera, and their part number is 017041. The price $18.95, so it is expensive. But if you were just piecing together these chisel drivers, and let's say that you got the flat blade, you know, slotted. You love it, it works great, you abuse it, it doesn't fail you. Come in and try this one first and see what you think, because I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty sweet little setup for us. But that's exciting, at least in my book, and I'm going to set it off to the side. I think what we're going to do now is jump into Witte. People pronounce it differently. Witte. It's all over the place, really. Many of these drivers I have actually brought in. They just weren't in Phillips. And what I was doing, I was trying to try out all the handle styles, of course, and then as I came in and I was starting to do the videos, I realized the best way for me to test everything would be to just have it all be a number 2 Phillips. It's the most commonly used. I'll be set for life with Phillips screwdrivers. I can give really random gifts to people. Whatever I decide to do, we're going to be just fine in terms of our number 2 Phillips screwdrivers. But let's see here. I think the way we would want to situate these is roughly like that. Now, there is another couple of Witte drivers. There's their Nature set, which I've wanted to bring that one in for quite some time. But just kind of running down the list here, these are all going to be number 2 Phillips. They're all going to be 100mm shafts, and then we've just got a couple of subtle differences between them. So, let's try and read these off for you. Coming in at 857, we have the MaxxPro Phillips screwdriver. That would actually be this guy right here. Now, it's interesting to me for the simple fact this is actually cheaper than the ProTop, and I'm not sure why. This is kind of the tri-lobe design. People have gotten away from it. They're kind of coming back to it. I personally kind of like them. It's sort of like our Stahlwille 3K. We've also got their loaded out one over there. That's the baseline level for MaxxPro, and again, it is, for whatever reason, 857. Then when you come in and you step up to the MacxPro Plus for 1192, you're essentially getting the exact same driver, but it's got the textured area, you know, your non-slip, if you will. Same exact driver, just a subtle upgrade to the handle. Then if you kick it up a farther notch, you get the one that we've got over here, which is going to have the hex bolster. Again, trying to get through this as quick as I can for you. We will have super detailed videos on these. But again, MacxPro standard, 857, MacxPro Plus, 1192. Coming back to the ProTop, it is 870. It actually costs more than the MacxPro. I'm honestly not sure why. But I think it's a lower line than the MacxPro, but some people may prefer it, some people may not. There it is in all its glory. It does have Phillips designated on the cap. It does not designate which side it is. It's a black tip, roughly the same driver, just a thinner profile. If you like the big ergonomics of a tri-lobe or like the soft finish, probably going to want to go MacxPro. If you prefer a slimmer profile, ProTop might be an option for you. Now, coming from the ProTop II at 870, if we spend a significant chunk more, we're all the way up to 1530, you can get the ProTop II. Now, you're probably sitting there and you're like, it's got a hex bolster, is that it? Nope. Also, striking cap. Again, you can kind of see the tri-lobe there really good with the black and the blue and the striking cap featured. But that's where you would be. We are very close to acquiring all of their different handle styles and Phillips. Again, we got a couple we need to bring in. We will get to those as quick as we can. Now, on that note, this is our big bag of Witte drivers. I'm going to set those up there. We're going to drop in now, and we will just start right here. So, like I said, I've gone all in on this. We crossed the point of no return a while back, but now we're actually going to do this proper. It's going to be done right. It's going to be thorough and exhaustive. It'll be something I can look back on and be proud of, and hopefully it just helps a lot of you. So, this is a similar bag to what we had, but these, of course, are all Felo drivers. Now, we've got a couple of different handle styles here, and for good reason. With Felo, what we first have, let's try to structure this a little bit. One of the drivers I first brought in from them was the Ergonics, and I love it. It attracts dust like nobody's business. It's not here. It must be, I think I was using it last night actually. Anyway, The problem with it is I did not realize there was a lesser version. I have the one with the hex bolster. Looks pretty much the same, but the tip on the one with the hex bolster looks significantly better, in my opinion. It's the one that's almost like the CNC finish where you can just feel the ribs in the blade. This doesn't have that. This is like a painted black tip. I was totally unaware that there was this lesser, you know, line. You can see the dust on that already. And the bench is clean. You know, you got to realize I do kind of live in a desert, but whatever. Price on that guy, let's go ahead and try to figure that one out. Oh man, it would be $10.05. I don't think the upgraded version costs that much more when you're going from a standalone perspective. So $10.05 for that guy. Now let's see, I'm assuming this one, it's kind of hard, should have mapped this out ahead of time. For $6.25, this would be number 13111. Can we reference that anywhere? Handle is pretty slick. It's also relatively small. This is sort of their like El Cheapo line, and it's actually still a pretty good driver. But again, it's going to be their 202 line. There's also the, is it 206? That's the blue handle, I think. Should be decent chemical resistance, I guess, would be the upside there. But that one's $6.25. Now, if you're interested in striking caps, you're not trying to break the bank, this guy right here, you're like, well, that's the same driver. Well, you'll see that 226. We get a hex bolster and a striking cap. So that's going to be your difference between these two. Obviously, an increase in weight. It is a slick handle, though. I can tell you that much. And then right up at the top, we've got another interesting entry into the series. We have their 32368, which is going to be the screwdriver with a metal cap. This is from their Frico, still don't know how to pronounce it, as they intend line. And this one's pretty nice. It's along the lines of the Ergonics, maybe just a little slimmer profile. It is striking cap. That's not just like a bullseye or a missile, which does have a cool aesthetic. It is a functional cap. And the tip on this one is of the same quality as my very first Ergonics. I know it's really hard to see that, and you can't hear it at all with the fan, I don't think, but it is a very impressive tip. Again, that's kind of what sold me on Felo. That's a painted black tip, and this one's the machine tip as well, so slightly better tips on the striking cap drivers. But again, that is not the baseline of this series. That's sort of their upgraded one. And on that note, this is a situation you're like, well, you got to get the baseline one, don't you? And we do. That was the plan all along. And the problem I had with doing that was honestly the price. To get a number 2 baseline just like that, I think we're looking at somewhere around, you know, $10, $12, somewhere in that range. Here's the deal. This set right here was on sale, mind you, but $22.69. Now I realize I'm covered with number 2s for life. Short of theft, natural disaster, we are set. And the problem is, we sort of, during that time, we haven't accrued as many other sizes of screwdrivers, be that, you know, 3s, 1s, precision, slotted, which slotted I am more prone to break, I will tell you that right now. And when you can get one driver for about half the price of 5, that's a no-go in my opinion. You would be foolish not to just bring in the set. And again, with the sale, these things come in at a really good price, $22.99. If you love the Frico handle, if you want to try them, pick them up while it's on sale. Set contents, essentially, what do we have? Not sure it's going to tell us. It's a 6-piece set too. I thought it was a 5, so that's even better. It's been a while since I ordered, but I guess we'll just open it if we can. I don't really have fingernails for that, but I believe we've got 2 Phillips and 4 slotted, so that's pretty much what you need to know. They are new in the box. They are covered in dust, as you would expect, which something about this handle style is just like a lint and dust magnet. But hey, we will take a more detailed look at these in a standalone video. And I know what you're thinking, okay, cool, so you're done with Felo, right? Well, obviously we're not really throwing around the insulated stuff this time. But there is one one glaring omission that's not even featured on this box art. I'm not sure it was a product at that point in time. And this one driver, keep in mind, 6-piece set, all right, set us back, what was it, $22.99? That's a pretty solid buy. This one screwdriver was just slightly less at $21.41. And I know what you're thinking, wait, that's just what you showed me. And, that is not correct at all. Let me make this dramatic for you. This is Felo's 502-20330, and trained eyes might see made in Germany. And now you see some red anodized racecraft looking stuff coming into the picture. This is the M-Tec. This is their, you could argue top of the line. I don't know. I might give it to their wood handle or the Ergonics, but this serves a purpose. And there's fewer and fewer manufacturers kind of going a dedicated route like this. These are on sale. The sets are very expensive. I wasn't quite sure if I would use it. I will actually make good use of this one. And in theory, what this is, it just holds the screw in place. So I'm thinking that sucker will come in quite handy when I do some dash work here. I've got some rusty, crusty screwdrivers over there, or screws, I should say. This is obviously a number 3, but just to utilize the concept here, that's grabbing really well. I would have zero issues. I mean, that's solid. They did a very good job with the magnets there. Again, this is an oversized screw as well, not even the correct size for the driver. And there's the pendulum. That's about as fast as I can go with my bad whatever injury I've sustained. That's my non-dominant left hand doing that. You get the point. This thing is solid. It's staying put. And like I said, this one M-Tec driver, 2140-ish. This set, basically 23 for 6 drivers. So the M-Tec would be a really good option for some people if you do a lot of work, precarious situations, panels, anything with side depth, or it's paramount that you not drop a fastener, or you frequently do drop fasteners and then you have to try and retrieve them, and it's probably in a metal case, and then your magnet tools that retrieve things are kind of shut down, if you will. But we've pretty well got Felo covered, as best I know, between this and what we've brought in previous videos. Again, concept that we're going to be going through, taking a look at each one, each step up, price points, pros and cons, weights, performance. I've got it all planned out. It's going to be pretty cool. It's just going to take some time. So that's it. That's a pretty cool looking shot right there, actually. But we do have some more stuff to get to, believe it or not. These are things kind of brand new that we've never tried bringing in. And I'm going to kind of clean this up, come back. Plus, we're getting closer to the cutoff point. So I will set up the new shot, and we will be right back. Well, it didn't take long. We are back, and look, a new challenger has arrived. Right here, what does that look like? Well, it looks like a box. It says Gedore on it, and it's kind of looking like a knife, doesn't it? Well, if we flip this sucker around, passionate about precision. This is a kitchen knife. That's right. Odd, I know. But part number will be GR2981548 on KC Tool. We paid $10.84 for this thing. And without further ado, let's go ahead and open her up. Cannot recall if this is one of the ones that was made in Spain or Italy. And look, it's so dull. I mean, that doesn't even cut my skin. Luckily, that's cardboard. So, this is an interesting color scheme for sure. Sort of a dark blue. Handle feels fairly well. Flip it around. We do not have a country of origin on here. I think it was Italy or Spain. Don't hold me to that. Yeah, I will, if you're interested, I know the product page actually describes it. You're thinking, okay, well, what are you going to do with that? Cut electrical tape or something? You know, what point could it possibly serve for you? Well, you heard him call it out as a small kitchen knife. And believe it or not, that's where I intend to use that. I'm going to take this to work. I eat apples pretty much like every day. And if you're ever at work and you want to slice your apple for some reason or cut it, or you're like cutting some strawberries or something, plastic cutlery or plastic knives kind of suck, and this is going to be a definitive upgrade. It's also going to be unmistakably mine. No one else is going to have a blue-handled knife that they brought in from Germany to cut their apples with, so it should be safe in the break room, and if not, it's going to be an egregious error that you can't just say, well, I didn't know it was yours. And again, that's one of the perks of this, but that's what that is, and that's honestly what I'm going to do with it. I wish I had like a better, more exciting story or some like crazy anecdote to provide for you, but I'm planning to cut fruit with it at work. So there you go. At least you know that I am honest. Now, another one that I'm probably going to take to work, and an interesting story on these. The screwdriver thing kind of started because I got pissed off. I was mad with like lackluster quality in the tools. One thing leads to another. This won't be near as encompassing, but it was something I kind of thought was interesting, wanted to try out. And more importantly, I didn't know where to go because I'd never actually seen anyone try this before. So, following suit with our apple peeler, if you want to call it that, this is a Gedore cable knife. Now the part number on this guy, let me see if I can find it for you, gonna be GR9113050. It's gonna be a little bit more expensive. It'll set you back $16.92. And long story short, I bought this a while back, made a video on it, and I love it. It's still the original blade. This is the exact same blade that I've had in it. You can tell just even with the glare of the lighting, this has seen a lot of use. It's cut tape, it's cut boxes, it's cut things it shouldn't have, tape, wires, everything you can think of. This is the same blade that it came with. And obviously it came with a pack of 50, and there's like 3 or 4 in the handle. I love it. I liked it so well that I bought one to use at work because I was tired. The box cutter I have at work is one of those like 90s era ones, and it's fine. Mine's still functional. All the others that people had are broken. It was one of those deals we bought one for everybody, and mine's the only one from that era still around, and it's got decent ergonomics on it, but the problem is it's like as fat as this screwdriver, and when I take the box cutter and I throw it in my jean pocket, it kind of sucks when you then have to bend over because it's bulky and it doesn't have any give in it. It's steel. So I cut stuff all the time, packing material, breaking down boxes, pallets, shipping labels, tape, you name it, your typical stuff. And I kind of was wanting to get a better knife. So the Milwaukee I brought in at work thinking, I'm going to love this thing, it's going to be awesome. It sucks, and I don't know why. It's got to be the blade. I haven't had any issues with the mechanism itself. And you're thinking, well, idiot, just put another blade in. I have. Every blade that I got that came with that thing has sucked. And that honestly did not set well with me to the point that I wanted to go buy more. I've got some like generic 50 packs somewhere. I would have to track them down. I think somebody broke the case, so they're all like loose in a drawer, which sounds terrible, but they're buried under hex keys if I remember correctly. So I can go that route. I probably will. I'll still use it, but this thing's also kind of bulky in your pocket. And after that bad experience, I decided I wanted to try and step back sort of like to an old-timer style. Just fits in my pocket, lightweight, doesn't impede me bending over, having a range of motion. I can go from having to be on my knees, you know, breaking down motors that just came in, to being on a table, you know, repairing stuff, jumping in and out of the back of people's trailers and loading freight. So this profile is not going to be an issue for me. And once again, there's all the pertinence on it. It is made in Germany, this one is, and well, that's kind of handy. I'm not gonna lie. Let's not cut ourselves, but I can just squeeze that. Sweet. Okay, so that worked out really well, and it will allow me to reuse that if we ever do a comparison video. I wasn't quite sure on the handle on this one. It's also really hard to tell, like, you know, bulk when you're buying something online. The handle feels good. It also feels like if I get this wet, or maybe, you know, I've got like anti-seize, which at work I'm gonna have nasty stuff, but if anything wet is on my hand and it isn't water, it's basically anti-seize. And I'm thinking that'll stain the handle, but I'm also wondering if it would react with the wood. It's a very soft wood, which would have pros and cons, but that's what it looks like. This is all this sucker is. And there you can kind of see the blade. You've got the cutout for cable, which again, depending on what I'm doing, I typically use wire strippers, but if I ever don't have them or somebody's run off with them and I'm tasked with wiring a motor, I can just come in and possibly use this thing. So it does not lock, at least as best I know, and it is a stiff thing, I'll tell you that right now. That is super stiff. My arm is hurting. I did some Probably some crazy workout stuff I shouldn't have done last night with an injury, but that's it's not, it doesn't lock. There's no like safety release, but man almighty, that is I would feel confident that that's not going to go anywhere without the safety. So that'll lock into place. Most of my other knives will lock into place. All the pocket knives I've ever had that don't lock into place, I've never had one that solid. So that is pretty interesting. But once again, the price on that guy, you kind of know what I'm going to be doing with it now, and we'll see how we like him. But the price on him was, I think, $16.92, if I'm not mistaken. And you're thinking, okay, well, you know, there's nothing else, right? Well, there is. And I can't just come in and assume that that would be the best one or that I would like it the most. This is one that I've had on my wish list since, geez, I don't know, I think I first placed an order with KC Tooling. I was trying to find a knife back then. It was before I bought that Milwaukee that I thought was going to be my solution. And I have brought in a Klein one to work. I made a video from an Amazon tool haul, but I haven't edited that, and truth be told, I don't know if I'm going to. But this right here, I'm sure many of you, if you've kind of perused around the Stahlwille section, have seen this sucker. And this is their part number ST77020000. Costs a little bit more, as you would expect from Stahlwille or Hazet. This one, $24.64. I haven't actually compared these two side by side yet. I can tell you right now, you've sort of got like the throwback, like this looks like something your granddad could have handed down to you. This looks like something you would walk into the store and buy today. So, there it is. This one is also made in Germany. It feels, I'm going to say better in hand because I'm not confident. The closest thing this reminds me of would be like the old Chicago cutlery like you had in your kitchen, or your mom or grandma probably had at some point in time. The super cool sets that included the sharpener and the ice pick, you know, and the wood block. You don't really see that much anymore. I don't ever see anybody even ask for it for like a wedding gift or anything, but I always thought they were cool. I was always like shocked when I went to people's houses and they didn't have this massive block of wood with like tons of steak knives in it, but I just thought that was normal, and apparently I guess it isn't. But, anyway, that's kind of what this reminds me of. It's almost like a worn, aged steak knife. Now, again, that does feel good in hand. There might be pros to it, but I'm kind of worried that I'm going to thrash that one. That said, the blade would be the more important thing. But this guy right here does cost a little bit more. It is plastic, changes the profile and the overall aesthetic. It's pretty stiff as well. Not near that stiff though. But the blade's very similar size on these. It's got a slightly larger profile for the cable cutting. But Stahlwille is only on one side. That text right there is made in Solingen. And then we've got 12320. So it's kind of between these, it sort of comes down to what are you willing to spend and what do you prefer. Because if you look at the handle and the overall length, we've got a different blade profile, but the overall length of these is roughly the same. And again, you can sort of think of it as this is basically 66% of the cost of this guy, 16 versus 24. This is going to be sort of like a more old world with a traditional blade, you know, in terms of the handle. This one's going to kind of be more modern, textured, less slip. The Gedore from a distance looks to have the better knife edge. Take that back. When I tilt this one down, it actually looks pretty good too. They're both sharpened. I don't see any serious imperfections in the blades. Nice feature here, we've actually got a cut through. Some people prefer that. This one just has the indentation. But I think these two will compare very well. It's just sort of going to come down to which one performs better. And then let's say the Gedore cuts better. If I don't like the handle, or I'm trashing the handle and it's wearing down or splintering off, does this handle override that? Similarly, if I like this handle better on this one, and they cut similarly, you know, that's going to sort of dictate which one I prefer. But I'm pretty excited about that. And spoiler, we might be seeing some more candidates for this one. But I think what I'm going to do is just probably throw one in my pocket and use it at work for a week. See if there's like any obvious defects, if this either one of them ever opens easier, over time and use, which I'm sure they will once they're broke in. You don't want it super loose, obviously, but that's certainly not what I was expecting from these. I'm also, I guess, sort of more used to like buck knives. Used to carry one of those on a belt back in like high school and early college, so we'll see. That's the tentative plan, is just kind of week 1 Gedore, week 2 Stahlwille, week 3 the next candidate, week 4 see if I can get that stupid, which this one's been awesome. It's what's so strange, and it's the blades that came with it, and then the one at work was just terrible. I don't know, you know, if they switched the pliers or something, but the blades in the one I have at work suck. They're unacceptable in my opinion. But you can see kind of what I'm talking about. Like, my box cutter at work is a little bit wider of a profile. If you added, you know, like a curvature, sort of like a round oval case to this Milwaukee, that's what I've been having to have in my pocket. You can see why I'm trying to get away from that. So I've got a Klein at work. It's slightly bigger than these, I think. It's kind of more the size of the Milwaukee with a slimmer profile, but just kind of top to top, even ignoring the clip, you get an idea. This is going to be way better in my pocket. So that's sort of what we'll do, is just sort of cycle them in and out, come back, tell you what I think and why, and we'll take it from there. But with that said, I believe we have finally covered everything. Broke the $200 threshold. We brought in some German cable knives. We've got what I think could possibly be one of the best number 2 solutions in terms of stuck screws. I don't know, I'm super excited about that. I wish I had like a new, I say new, like a brand new project car, you know, something from the 60s and 70s era Mopars, where I would run into a ton of that crud, and I would just exclusively use this until I decided it was perfect or it wasn't good, and we would know definitively. But we got a ton of Felo drivers, we got a ton of stuff from Witte, who knows. They're kind of the sleeper. Nobody really brings much of their stuff in. They make a pretty good screwdriver, I'll tell you right now. But I'm pretty excited to try all this stuff out, kind of get the comparison videos going. And once more, big shout out to Colin and Casey Tool for sending this. These are on sale, and I really do like Gedore's blue and black kind of comfort grip, but that wood chrome, this is sort of like the steel gray color. This is super easy to articulate, but again, if you kind of like to, say you're sold on the Cobra, but you're like, I wonder what everyone else's are like, they're on sale, pretty good sale. It's a good time to bring them in, try them out for yourself. But tons of screwdrivers, knives, free pliers, t-shirt, bits, and of course the Stahlwille Catalog. I'd say we did pretty good. So with that said, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. If you've used any of these, let me know what you like, what you don't like. If you've never used any of them, what caught your eye and why? Similarly, what are you doing, like, for everyday carry at work type stuff? Nothing crazy. I'm not like trying to go survive in the wilderness. I'm just wanting to break down, you know, boxes, cut packing tape, trim electrical tape, you know, cleanly, that sort of a thing. So we're not setting the world on fire, just trying to have a, you know, accomplish basic tasks. What are you using? Have you ever used any of these? I've never, in all the videos I've watched, I've not seen anybody bring in any of these sort of pocket knife styles, probably because they are sort of expensive, and it's an unknown entity, of course. I think is probably what scares people off. But I think GTR might have brought in some of the Gedore kitchen knives. I don't know if it was that one or not. It's been a while since that video, but I will also let you know how that does cutting my apples and other fruits and vegetables at work. So that said, again, any thoughts on this, leave them down below. Hope you all have a great time. If you are not following us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, make sure you do that. You can find it at Lone Star Mopars. Website, lonestarmopars.com. The forum, stick a slash and forum at the end of that. If you're not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, of course. Your support is always appreciated. And until next time, I will catch you back here for another KC Tool Haul.